I guess we can go ahead and get into it. I'm thinking we'll do a cold open. I don't think am creative enough to come up with like any music or like intro stuff. So I think we're just gonna go
Not,
cold open.
not yet though. Dude,
I guess first off, welcome to the podcast, Full Fletch. Um, this is just a branch of what we're gonna try to do with I guess my side of the business, being full fledged archery, building arrows and stuff like that is kind of where it started. And now we're going to branch out and do a lot more videos and podcasts, just kind of talk things out. And from my side of it, it's like I'm not here to speak as an expert. It's to, I guess, track my journey, our journey, and learning hunting outdoors and all things in between. That's kind of where I'm seeing it go. And like I said, definitely not an expert in anything. There's some things I do know and definitely things I need to learn, but it's just something to kind of talk about as we go. So that's me, Justin, talking about it. Full Fletch Archery is my business, and this is the Full Fletch podcast. Brooks.
well, what's up, guys? My name is Brooks. I am just a fellow archer, one of Justin's one of Justin's buddies. We he coached at my former junior college. We both played baseball, and we knew of each other growing up, but never really like met each other until what was that? The alumni weekend at Garden,
Yep.
something like that. Yep. So that's when we met each other, and then he started once 2020 hit. He was telling me he got into archery, and then the past couple of years, or the past year or so, I've gotten into archery. So yeah, we're just two baseball dudes. Justin's got the business. I'm just here because I love archery. I love the outdoors. So.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. No, when you first told me like, hey, I'm starting to get into it, it's like I'm all for it. Like let's get you diving in. And you're like, yeah, I'm gonna mess around with it a little bit. I'm like, no, you don't know what you're messing with. If you even show half interest, like before you know it, you're all in. And it's just like that's the way I was. Like it wasn't too long ago. Like you said, I went and shot my dad's old bow because it was COVID. There was nothing else to do, and just shooting in a yard. And then it was like, well, hunting season's coming up. I guess I'll try archery hunting again. First time in a long time. So did that, and it was just like, yeah, we haven't turned back. So it's definitely a slippery slope, but I love it. So yeah, it's cool. I guess first thing, tell me about the elk hunting season that you had, archery.
Yeah. So for you guys who don't know, I live here in Colorado, and I'm sure plenty of you guys know that Colorado is known for its elk hunting. And but this is the last year for over the counter for non-residents. So this year was definitely there was a lot of people, which we kind of expected. And but we went up to Unit 62 over about west of Montrose on the western side of the state, and it was awesome. I mean, we did do 511 the weekend before. Got in a hole there. Forgot to mention that, but ended up not even coming close. But it was still fun to talk to him for about an hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, that was kind of about it for that for 511, which is near Colorado Springs, Woodland Park area. But ended up going to 62 out near Montrose, and we were on elk every single day. It was a blast. We got within 40 on one. Your Josh.
There's a buddy.
Yep. Got in on elk every day. It was they were talking. It was kind of funny. Like we were camped on the border of 61 and 62, and those who are from the western states probably know that 61 is a very sought after unit here in Colorado, which takes about 16 or 17 preference points. We were over the counter, which 62 is over the counter, so we were in there, but we were on the border camping, and you could just hear the elk in 61 just bugling away. And so this is at night, of course, right?
Right.
But other than that, man, yeah, we got within 40 on one. We were at least on them every day. Just could not close. It was very wooded. There was deadfall everywhere, steep ridges. It kicked my ass. I know that. And two of my other buddies who I went with, it definitely kicked their ass too. But they were able to hunt that area the first week. And they both were able to shoot, at least fling an arrow each. But they both missed. So, but that's part of it, man. Elk hunting's hard out here, especially over the counter.
Oh yeah.
So public land over the counter. I mean, that's been preached in every podcast I've listened to. So just how difficult it is, and yeah, it's one of the most difficult things to do.
It adds up. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. My only elk hunting experience aside from rifle, as a kid was, that first year after I graduated college. We had planned, over the counter. Let's just go to, I don't even remember what unit it was, but it was like an hour from the house, somewhere up in the mountains. And we just went for like 4 days, 5 days, whatever it was. And like, I didn't even see a thing, didn't hear them. They weren't going off. So it was like I'm glad you at least got like half an experience of like hearing them, seeing them, like getting in on them, because like that would be my dream, is to get back over there and get into it more like that. But yeah, my elk hunting experience before I moved out here was just like, well, we went camping for a few days and had some good times and slept on a cot, and then went back home and acted like none of it ever happened. So, but yeah, now it's all whitetail out here. So, then you're planning on doing rifle or what?
Say that again. Sorry.
You're trying to do rifle with your elk this year?
Not this year, no.
No.
I know my buddy Aaron. He's up with his buddy's dad has a elk tag for 61 for first rifle right now, and they said that they've seen around 15 bulls. So it's pretty much just like, all right, which one do we want kind of thing.
Yeah.
For them. So, but I mean, I don't know what for rifle, how many preference points you need for that unit. But I know archery is like 17. But yeah, no rifle for me this year. I gotta save up my preference points. I mean, I just started to, so kind of I'm just gonna get my ass kicked on OTC for the next few years until I can really save up enough to get on some like good, decent, or into some good, decent areas. So.
Right, for sure. Yeah, that's a bummer about the no more non-resident over the counter. I was really not banking on it, but it'd be really nice, one of these years coming up, that be able to save up some money and be able to come out there and go with you for one of those units that you can get over the counter. But we'll save up points and we'll plan a trip.
Heck yeah. There's so many good units out here. I've been just doing my research and I'm just like, good Lord, it's just there's a lot to choose from, but there's so many people that come out here that sometimes it feels like, oh well, I picked this area, no one's going to be here. Well, someone's there, someone's already looked at it. So that's part of it. Everyone loves Colorado for elk. Same with Utah, same with Idaho, Wyoming, Montana. So Oregon, Washington, even California. So
right.
Yeah, dude. Whenever you get you out here, you can save up your preference points. I'll save up mine. We'll freaking have a heck of a hunt.
Yeah, I'll have to rely on you on most of the scouting, but I'd love just to get out there and at least have a hunt. That's the public land thing, man, and it's everywhere. Even like the little bit of time in Kansas. I mean, there wasn't a ton of public land in Kansas, especially like close to where we're at in Garden there. But out here, like you go and it's just, you get 3-4 trucks in the parking lot, and it's like, it's just always loaded. It seems like if there's a half decent piece of public, like everybody knows about it. It's like, well, you just gotta hunt the animals and you gotta hunt around the people. So that's we're not well off enough to have that private land privilege. So
not yet anyway.
That public land hustle is tough.
So you guys do, because you're all whitetail over there, so you guys do more like tree, sitting in a tree kind of.
Yep.
waiting for something to come by.
Yep.
Type of thing.
Yeah, so I've got a saddle system, the tethered system. So I got my climbing sticks and platform and walking with my saddle. It's a pretty lightweight system. It's obviously heavier than going in with just a backpack, but it's maybe 10, 15 extra pounds with everything included. And you just get in and get on a tree and where I'm at, it's really thick cover. Like they've talked about the TWRA, has talked about having some thinning out of some of the woods out there, cutting things down, burning things, whatever. Like it's just way too thick. So it would even be hard to get a good ground blind hunt in or like a spot and stalk hunt. It's just so many dead branches and leaves, like you were talking about deadfall. It's just so thick. And so finding a good spot for a tree can be tough, especially on public where you can't control your lanes and you can't go in there and just hack things down and trim trees like crazy and make your lane. So that's another tough part of it here. But so it's a lot of tree stand stuff. And we tried one hunt with a ground blind. It's just like there's no really good spots for it when we went out. So a lot more success with the tree stuff. So
okay, so how close have you gotten so far this year to either a buck or a doe?
So the only close encounters I've had on Monday this past week had 3 bucks, like 10 yards or less. The first one was just a little fork buck. He came through and, like I said, it's so thick. I could hear some stuff, but there were squirrels around. And I mean, that's just the classic whitetail woods. You're sitting in a tree and you just hear squirrels going crazy. And it's like, well, it's just another squirrel. And then you hear one like good stick break or a big crunch of a leaf. And it's like, that wasn't a squirrel. And then slowly turn the head and it's like, oh crap, there he is. And next thing I know, he was 12 yards away before I even knew that he was there. And he was still in some thick stuff, but 12 yards away and he came out and, I got my bow by the time he got to 10 and the way he was coming in, his head was up, so I couldn't really draw on him. And then by the time he got to a spot where he had his head down and got to a clearing, I had another buck right behind him. He was like 3 yards behind him, 5 yards behind him. He followed him in. And so by the time I could have drawn for the first one, the second one was walking in with his head up. So I couldn't make a move on that. And then there was another bigger buck. It was like the AT&T, like it was like small one, bigger one, biggest one. And it was cool. The back when he was maybe 20, 25 yards into the woods, but I could kind of see him. I'm putting together the footage of it and I'm trying to get zoomed in so you can see him, but he was making a rub on one of the small trees in there. So, had those 2 bucks within 10 and, the other one, he was about 15, 20, something like that. But, the one small one, he probably got maybe 7 yards from the tree before he got downwind of me and he blew and took off like bat out of hell. And, the other 2 didn't know what the heck was going on. So they're like, all right, we're out too. So he's like,
no.
At that point, it was like, maybe 40, 50 minutes left of shooting light. So it was like a little bit before sunset, but it was just like, I don't know if they're going to come back. So I sat it out and waited, but nothing happened that night. And then, that's the closest encounter. Wednesday, I had a couple deer come through. They trotted through the same area, like 40 yards away. And then another one was in the field behind me, like 50 or so. But yeah, close calls, but didn't get a chance to pull through on it. So I'm going to get out today in a different spot. And we haven't seen deer in that area very well. We've seen some people pull some out of there, but we haven't seen any. So we'll give it a go in a little bit different spot, kind of mix it up. And we hunted there a lot last year and saw some. I had some close encounters, but didn't pull the trigger on. Well, I pulled the trigger on one and missed. Just totally misjudged my yardage. He was at 20 and I thought he was at 30 and I shot way over his back. So, but yeah, gonna give it a go there.
Nice. What's the furthest shot you think you can make out there in the whitetail woods for you guys, I guess. So,
I mean, if I can find a spot that's out to 30, I'd be comfortable with that probably. But it's just it's gonna have to be like wide open or maybe on a field edge or something like that, spot and stock where I have just an absolute clearing. But no, like that those deer on Monday they came in and there was no opening less than 20 or more than 20. Like all the openings were 20 or less, and the one opening I had, shooting lane I had at 20 was just like maybe the size of a basketball, and it was like I would really have to thread the needle on it, and
right.
even at that, that's not even where they came through. So it's just like everything had to be 15 or less for where those deer were at, and but yeah, I would say most most times it's going to be 20 or less, if not like 15. Like they're just gonna have to be on you, and so that's a whole different tactic that I'm not quite used to yet. Being still and making moves in the tree, especially with the saddle to get yourself lined up for a shot and all that stuff. So that could be another factor that went into the one on Monday. Maybe I moved just a little bit too much and trying to get myself lined up for one of the two, and he might have seen me and smelled me because I know for sure he smelled me, but he might have seen me move just a little bit. And just those tight quarters, you got to be really calculated and smooth with your movements.
Right. Yeah, I've always I haven't hunted whitetail before, and so I've always like kind of wondered the tactics for it and everything, especially with you out in Tennessee. It's just the I don't know. You guys don't have. I mean, you guys got public land, but it's not obviously like out here, so you only have a certain like amount of space to work with, kind of thing. So I'm always just curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, this one out here, most of it that I'm hunting, it's right off the lake, and you have some of it where it's like maybe a 50-yard wide, 100-yard wide stretch of public where, I mean, you got the water that it's part of the public, but then that private land border is like 100, 150 yards away from the water, and it's like you're probably not going to hunt in that stretch, but like that can be as narrow as it gets sometimes, and it's just it's another factor to it of maybe they're hanging out on private and hopping over to public for like a split second and just kind of having to scout and figure out where they're moving to and through and where their bedding areas are. It's another factor to it as well, but yeah, it's something getting used to because I mean the public, like you were saying, public out in Colorado where it's like it's a lot more open. You have like big sections. There's not really sections. It's just like certain small areas or parts around like a lake or something like that they just classify that as the wildlife management area and public land hunting for it. So a little bit different for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to get out there at some point. Because I really want to hunt whitetail one day, so I got to get out to. Plus, you're in Nashville. Everyone loves Nashville, so it's a great area.
Yeah, for sure.
And well, I will say the nice part about for you is what I've noticed is you don't really have to venture far to hunt.
No.
You're kind of you're right in the city. It's just right there, which is super nice.
Yeah, that is definitely a unique part of it. Like when I was living in Denver, it was like, man, there were some areas like for duck hunting. It was like there were some public land areas for duck hunting where I could go 30, 45 minutes away and it's not too far and you get some okay, decent hunting out of it. But I mean, here, like I have probably a 45-minute radius of like 7 different spots I could go to that all have pretty decent whitetail hunting. I mean, other hunting as well, but like even just for deer hunting isolated, like they're all pretty decent spots. They've got deer, and a decent population. I mean, shoot, the regulations have you at 3 does a day and you can get $2 a year. So it's like, there's a population problem. And so it's just like, they're out there. You just got to find the right areas to hunt them at. And, I mean, they are educated. They know their safe spaces and their private land that they're kind of protected on a little bit where they don't get hunted at. But yeah, I mean, it's really nice to have so many accessible points being where we're at here.
Yeah, that's super nice. Like my elk hunt, well, the first weekend took us hour and a half to get to our campsite, and then the next week it was about 6 hour drive.
Mm.
So but that's part of it out here in Colorado. Which honestly, I don't mind. I enjoy camping. I enjoy the mountains. So it's not like I hate driving. It's just I do one day. I know my girlfriend and I, once we get married and everything, we'll be moving up to the western slope part of the Colorado. So it'd be definitely easier to uh, easier access to the land out there. But yeah,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, dude, even here, like I am in a pretty decent spot where I'm 45 minutes away, but like there's so many, it's so accessible. Like it's all suburbs around here. Like there's some like farm ag land, but I mean it's just getting taken over by suburban houses and neighborhoods like that where it's just like, well, it makes it to the point where you can move just about anywhere and you have almost those same 7 properties within that same drive radius. But you like if you have your favorite spot and you find a house or property closer to that favorite spot, you can be 5 minutes from it. And like most of it you can't rifle hunt around like close to town. But I mean archery and muzzleloader and I mean if you wanted to shotgun hunt deer, like all that's wide open in a lot of these areas that are closer to like Nashville proper. So I mean it's wherever you want to move to, and if you want to move closer to that part of the lake that has the better opportunity for you to hunt at, or whatever the case may be, like it's all there.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean it's exciting just because, like I said, with the regulations and the population, they just came out. I read an article the other day, or at least a headline. It was like there's a town like northeast of Nashville, mostly east. They have like such a bad deer problem that they're like, it's not even the government organizing it. They're hiring like outside sources to come in and like get a deer population count. They're doing like drones and all sorts of different studies to try to figure out what the population is and what the population should be, because it's just like so dense. They're having car crashes everywhere, like just damage to things. Like people are getting attacked by deer, literally. And so it's just like, we need to do something about this. And so they're trying to figure out the right way to do it. And so it might turn into something where they might have like a quota hunt or something like that, where it's like, you know, we've got X number of deer in the area. We need Y number taken out, harvested every year to try to get that number down to a more manageable number. And what's the best way to do it is what they're trying to come up with. And so it might be something where it's like, well, we come up with a quota system and a draw system of, you know, all these hunters can put in for it. And, you know, you get in on this quota hunt and you get to take 3 does or whatever, your normal limit, but you get maybe special privileges in that area. So it'd be interesting to see where that goes. That's something I definitely want to follow, see what comes of that. But yeah, I mean, the population is just crazy out here where opportunities are wide open.
It's awesome. Makes me want to get out there as soon as I can, because I know your guys' archery season is what, 2-3 months?
So it's like the last week of September this year. It was last week of September through January, like early to mid January. And
Sweet.
I mean, so you can hunt archery all through that, and then in there you have your muzzleloader or primitive weapons where it's muzzleloader and shotgun. Then they have a rifle season, and then it opens back or backs up to like archery, not archery only, but muzzleloader archery only there at the end. So it's like, yeah, I mean, you can hunt archery all year here, whereas some places, you know, it's archery now, then muzzleloader, then rifle, and then they kind of back and forth it. But yeah, archery until the season's end for all methods it takes. So.
I wish we had that out here in Colorado because we pretty much got if you pretty much like mid-August when archery antelope starts to end of September when archery elk ends, and then after that it's just pretty much rifle everywhere. There is some tags you can get out east for whitetail. But I'm not really familiar with the whitetail population. I'm more used to mule deer, which is around here in the Front Range area and up in the mountains.
Right.
So there is some archery tags still, but it's kind of just like if you want to go out east for a whitetail, you can. What do you know about the whitetail out east kind of thing? So
Right.
it's everything out east is private, minus a few spots, and those few spots are always taken, of course. And so it's just getting permission and doing all that stuff when it comes to that. That is one thing I'm jealous is how long your guys' archery season goes compared to ours. Because I would
Right.
love to do it all the way through January if I could.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I guess a couple of talking points I wanted to talk about with this podcast. What are you hoping to get out of it? Accomplish, achieve, acquire? Like, what's something you want to get out of like this podcast experience?
Myself?
Yeah, you.
Yeah. Oh, just learn. Because I mean, that's one thing I do love about picking up uh, a new challenge. Is just trying to learn it. And so, like, there's things over the past few years I've tried to pick up and like learn, but I'm kind of just like I get through a little bit. I'm like, yeah, but then I picked up a bow and I was like, okay, I really want to learn this. And I got into hunting a little bit more. And so mainly just to kind of just learn more, talk about experiences, um, stuff like that. So, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, same boat. Love to learn more. Maybe get to the point where someday we're having some good guests on and get a lot of really good information out of them. Never know what you're going to learn and with whoever you talk to. So, yeah, hopefully learn some stuff. And, yeah, I guess the other thing I was thinking, just have something to like look back on and to track our progress. That's something I want to like get out of it, is to be like, we started, today, October 12th, 2024, we started this whole thing, and we're going, and then 10 years down the line, if whatever's going on, like, can we look back and be like, man, I can't believe that's where we started, and look where we're at now, and to be able to look
Right.
back at that stuff. I think that's kind of another reason why I wanted to start the videos too, videos in the podcast, is to share my experiences with like friends and family, because being out here, there's only a few people in the tight circle that are out here that I know that I can share those experiences with firsthand. And so being able to be like, oh, hey, mom, dad, Brooks, other buddies back home, like, this is what I got to do this hunting season or this past couple weeks. Check it out on my YouTube or whatever. So just to be able to share those experiences is another thing that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. And especially like, I mean, I'm sure you and your wife will want to have kids one day. I know we want to have kids and be able to like kind of show our the future generation, like, hey, this is what we did. Like, we would love to pass this down to you. That's another
Right.
thing. And that at least gets them excited to be like, okay, I really want to do this too. Because I mean, I'm sure you know the hunters are under attack here in America because we can provide for ourselves, and that not trying to get conspiracy minded, but the government like wants people to live off them and not on
Right.
their own. So I'll just leave it there. That's a whole another rabbit hole we can get into one day.
Oh
But
yeah, well, there's so many rabbit holes I'm just ready to dive in on, and hopefully we can do this like once a week, if not once every other week. Once a week would be awesome, but there's so many talking points that, like, especially Colorado, the mountain lion thing. We're not going to get into it right now, but
I
there's
will say this.
lots of things that are coming up.
Now, since this is October 12th and the election day is what, November. I'm trying to figure it out right now. November 5th.
Mhm.
For anyone in Colorado watching this, remember to vote no on Prop 127. It would uh, it would get rid of mountain lion and bobcat hunting, and or they call it trophy hunting when in reality it's not trophy hunting. Uh, you can actually, I mean, bobcat is really hard to draw a tag for bobcat anyway. Same with mountain lion, but the mountain lion population has grown it's just grown ex- extensively over the years, and so it's starting to become a problem. And they're wanting to ban it, which is very unfortunate. But I think this Prop 127, I think has I think it will not pass, in my opinion. I pray that's the case, just because of like how much more people are like, I guess, like trying to tell other people about it. It wasn't like the wolf thing back, what, 2020 or whatever,
Mhm.
where that barely passed.
Right.
So if we could just get a few more people, we're completely fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyone who's listening to this in Colorado, vote no on Prop 127. Because in reality, if once they get mountain lions and bobcats, then they'll go after elk, they'll go after moose, they'll go after deer, and it'll just be a continued snowball effect. The next thing you know, we will not have hunting here in Colorado. So
Yeah. Which would be a shame. There's so like slippery slope of all the ways that can go, and not in a good way. For sure.
mm-hmm.
So I think last thing I want to kind of bring up, talk about it. I would like to do it at least once a week as well, kind of like a rut report, or like a weekly forecast, not a weekend review, but like looking forward to like from today for the next like 7 to 10 days, what's on the docket. I guess for me, I'll start. I get to hunt a lot more than you, obviously, so a lot of mine is going to be like actual rut report related, like what I'm seeing out in the field, things like that. But for like on your end, I'd love to hear like, are you going shooting? Are you shooting your bow? What are you getting ready for? But here, mid October, it's the deer are starting to kind of move around, get into that pre-rut phase where I mean, like I said, I saw the one making a rub, and I've seen a lot of fresh rubs. So they're slowly starting to get there, of getting ready to get into that rut phase. I haven't seen them kind of group up bucks and does yet, but it's starting to get there. So they're in there. Different bedding areas, different phases of it right now. But I can see it with a couple cold fronts coming up that it's going to start getting into that pre-rut, and it's going to be really exciting. And once the rut hits, it's chaos. But pre-rut, pre-rut, whatever you want to call it here, it's kind of going on. So I'm getting to hunt 2 or 3 times a week, and so I'm getting to see a lot of different activity out there.
heck yeah, dude, that's awesome. It's exciting. It's
Oh, yeah.
funny when out here in where I work, I work in a very like wooded community for a water district, and there's so many mule deer out here. And during the rut last year, it was just hilarious watching them because I obviously know they can't be out here. But they'll just go. So all their ladies, it's hilarious to me. I love seeing it.
So what do you got anything coming up the next week to 10 days? Anything hunting outdoors related?
um, I might be going up with my buddy Aaron and his family at the second rifle, just to kind of just be there in a few
Mm.
weeks. Still trying to figure out those details. But I won't be hunting or anything like that. I'll just be kind of just practicing shooting. We have a really nice range over here in Highlands Ranch. That's got a nice, just regular 10 yards out to 80-yard range, and then a 3D course, which is super nice.
Yeah.
So I try to get there about once or twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just moved into a house here, and I'm able to have about a 15, 20-yard lane where I can shoot. So that's super, super nice.
Yeah, getting reps is always awesome, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Right on.
On the hunt side or archer side of things. So
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I don't think anything else I want to talk about. Anything you want to bring up the last minute or two here?
I don't think so. Vote no on Prop 127.
That's a big one. No 127, Colorado folks. I'm all in on that. Wish I could vote over there, but obviously not legal. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you could find a dead person.
Yeah, conspiracy theorist over here. Awesome, man. Well, I think the Zoom's about to run out, so we'll call it there. But
cool.
Awesome.
Appreciate you, man. This is gonna be awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, you're gonna have to upgrade Zoom so we can get these calls to be more than whatever this was, 45 minutes. So
Still works. So good first one.
Yeah.
Appreciate anyone who stuck around.